Hey my lovelies, it's Rhia. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then welcome. So today we are finally doing another book video.
I feel like I haven't done one of these since like 1964.
But you guys have been requesting them like crazy over on my Instagram, and I've been getting DMs from you guys saying I need summer book recommendations, can you please do another book video? So today I will be telling you all the books that I read in June, my thoughts on them and what I rated them. And of course we have Starbucks to get us through. Okay, so the first book I read in June was actually on my Kindle, and guys, I just got this adorable new Kindle case. It literally gives me like Hogwarts vibes. But the first book I read was Malibu Rising. So this is set in the summer of 1983 and it follows the story of Nina Riva, this supermodel, and her three siblings, Kit, Jay and Hood. And her dad was like this big time famous singer, so like the whole family was really famous in Malibu. So every summer this family throws a giant party in their mansion, but this year the party goes wrong and by the end of the night the whole mansion ends up on fire. So it's kind of like a whodunit kind of mystery that you need to solve. You literally find out that the mansion catches fire on the first page, and then, I'm not kidding you, you don't find out who did it until like the third page from the end. So the whole way through you're trying to figure it out, and I actually didn't. But I actually gave this 4 stars. It was so fast paced, had me hooked, guys. It follows all kinds of things, different relationships, health issues, what it's like to be famous, and then also it has that element of mystery, like who did it. Okay, the second book that I read was You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. Guys, I'm not kidding you, I feel like this book has been out since like dinosaurs walked the earth, and I am officially the last person to ever read it. But it did not disappoint, guys. I gave this 4.5 stars. And honestly, I have heard so many people complain about this, saying it's the worst of Emily Henry's books. So I went into it thinking this is going to be so boring, I'm going to hate it, but I ended up loving it. So it's about 2 best friends, Poppy and Alex, who go on vacation every single year without fail. And it's so easy to follow because the chapters are literally labelled like that. So 11 summers ago, and then 10 summers ago, 9 summers ago. So it's literally all leading up to the final summer where something bad happened between the two of them, which has made them not speak in the present. Overall, it was such a quick summary read, so highly recommend. So next up I read the SummerHouse Girls on my Kindle because it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, you know what, it sounded really good, why not? I gave this 2 stars. It was just not what I thought it would be at all. So it follows a group of 5 women who are all friends and they take a summer vacation to Dubai, and 2 of them are like super rich and then the other 3 really aren't. So there is some jealousy there, but basically it's a story about lies, cheating, betrayal, like so many secrets coming out. And honestly there are a lot of plot twists which I didn't guess, but there was just so much like legal talk, like about money and investing, and I didn't understand any of it. So like when you don't understand what's happening, it kind of just ruins it for you. So I wouldn't really recommend this one, but it was a really quick read. Then I read, guys, I did it. Can we just get a round of applause? I finally did it after putting it off for literally 14 months. I finally read Daisy Jones and the Six. I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've picked this book up, read the first page and just put it back down like, no, I can't do it, but I stuck with it and I'm actually so glad I did. I gave this a 4 stars. So this book follows Daisy Jones and how she gets into a band in the 1970s. And this book is written like a script. There's no quotation marks or anything, it just says who is speaking. So it did take me a while to adjust because I literally just felt like I was reading a play more than a book. And for the longest time I actually thought that Daisy Jones and the Six was a real band. So whilst I was reading this I thought it was all real, and it's not, guys. But if you love the 70s you definitely need to read this book. It's basically just about how Daisy got into the band, what rock bands were like back then, how they write their music, their performances, their after parties. So if you love the 70s music you were going to eat this book up. Oh, then I read The Summer Job. 5 stars. Literal 5 stars. I don't know if you guys watched my video where I talked about like my top 10 books of last year, but one of those top 10 books was Clown in a Cornfield, and this is by the same author. So this is about a girl called Claire and she works in a restaurant, but one morning her job catches fire, so she literally has to search for another job. So she sees an ad for a job in a hotel and she applies for it, and she finds out she's the only one that actually applied, so she gets the job. So the next week she drives out with her best friend to stay in this hotel and do her training, but the next morning her best friend disappears. She finds out that like some of the hotel guests are checking out and they're never seen again. There's something really strange going on in the woods opposite the hotel. The cook is cooking meat that just looks human. Guys, yeah, it's a summer thriller, but it is so good. Like, I just devoured this. I read it so quick. I highly, highly, highly recommend. Then next up, I read a summer book that I actually saw recommended on TikTok, and that was The Summer Rental. And the line for this is, they are going to have a killer summer. So it's about 5 friends and a few guys who rent out an apartment for a summer vacation in Palm Key Springs. But then a hurricane hits and they are all stuck there. They can't leave. There's no electricity. Everything's in like pitch black darkness. There's no food. Then people start disappearing. They start like messing around with a Ouija board. Someone turns up dead in the pool. All this creepy stuff starts happening and you're basically trying to figure out who the killer is and why. Now I gave this 2.5 stars, which kills me because it was really fast paced. Like, it was so easy to read, but I did guess nearly every single one of the plot twists, and I even guessed pretty early on who the killer was. But I highly recommend because you guys genuinely might not figure it out. I probably only did because I read so many thrillers. Then next up, guys, I've just realized I've read so many books on my Kindle this month, but I actually took a little break from summer reading just for one book because I saw this book advertised called No Exit and everyone was raving about it. And guys, let me tell you, 5 stars, best book of the whole year so far. And I've read nearly 40 books and this is in #1 place. I am literally gonna force everyone I know to read this book, including my mum and my best friend, so I'm looking at you. Basically, it's about a girl called Darby and she's driving home from college, but then a blizzard hits. Like, she literally can't keep driving. The roads are covered in snow, so she has to pull over to a rest stop at the side of the road. But as she's getting out of the car and heading into the rest stop, she notices that there's a handprint inside the window on the back of this van, and when she looks inside, there's a child. Like, there's an actual kidnapped child. So she heads into this rest stop and there's 4 other strangers in there. She knows that one of them, or maybe more than one of them, is in on it, so she's like, who do I trust? How do I get help? The phone lines are down because of the blizzard, so she can't call the police, and she's thinking, am I going to be next? Are they going to kidnap me now? And the whole timeline literally takes place over one night, like just like 8 hours, just in the dark, in the snow, stuck in this place. Highly, highly recommend, guys. Literally, it is on Kindle Unlimited. Just pick it up and read it. You will love it. Then I went back to the summary books and I finally read Happy Place, which is Emily Henry's new book. So same author as Who Wrote You and Me on Vacation, but this has just come out. I gave this a 4 stars. Honestly, it was a lovely, like, happy, bubbly summer quick read. It's about Harriet and Wynne, but they have recently split up. But they're going on vacation with all of their friends and they don't want to tell them because they don't want to ruin the vacation. So they're having to pretend that they're still dating. So this is actually really, really funny. Like, I was laughing out loud at some points and also kind of awkward. And you can see how much they still love each other. So also you're kind of rooting for them to get back together. And this book, it has the best quotes, I think, from any rom-com I have ever read. Like, I was underlining them and just dying inside. So it was a super quick read and highly recommend for the summer. Then book number 9 that I decided to pick up, I decided to go back to like a thriller genre for another book because I think I was still like thinking about No Exit and just loving it so much. So I decided to pick up Freida McFadden's new book called Ward D. Now, I have literally been obsessed with Freida McFadden this year. She's like quickly become one of my favorite authors. She wrote The Housemaid. I read that. It was like top 3 books of my whole year, and this is her new release. So it's about Amy, who is a medical student, and she's been assigned to spend the night on a locked psychiatric ward. Like, literally, she cannot leave for 12 hours. There's a code on the door. She can't get out. Then she starts to notice that like weird things are going on. Some patients are disappearing. Some patients are getting locked in their room and just never heard from again. And she starts to realize she is actually in danger and there's no way to escape. So again, it all takes place over just one night, but I didn't guess any of these plot twists and my jaw was literally dropping and it gave me actual chills. So 4.5 stars, amazing. Then, because I am literally obsessed with Freida McFadden and I've been binging all of her books, I decided to read one by one. And let me tell you, I sat down to read this and I never got back up until I finished it. 5 stars. I literally just read it in one sitting. So it's about a woman called Claire and her husband and 2 other couples, and they decide to go on a vacation camping in the woods. But then as they're driving through the woods, their minivan breaks down. So they're just stranded. So they have no option but to get out and start walking. But soon enough, they realise they're lost. And then that's when the drama happens, guys. One by one, they either start to disappear or die. And Claire is like, who is responsible for this? Is it a bear, an animal, or is it one of us? Guys, it was so good. Literally have to read it. And then the last book I read in June, guys, Colleen Hoover's latest release, Too Late. 5 stars. Coho just doesn't disappoint. I literally ran to the store and I was not disappointed. I will say though that this book is like not for young adults or young readers. It's literally been dubbed like the darkest thriller of the year, and Colleen Hoover herself actually wrote like a little note at the beginning of the book saying proceed with caution. So I was like kind of nervous to pick this up, but I'm actually so glad I did because it was so good. So it's about a guy called Asa Jackson who runs a huge drug business, and his girlfriend Sloane, who he treats terribly, but she can't leave him because Asa is currently paying for her autistic brother's care. Then 2 guys called Dalton and Carter enter like the drug ring, but they undercover because they secretly want to try and get Asa caught and shut him down. So it's basically just a story of, can Sloane survive? Can she survive that long to escape Asa, or will she go down with him? But 100% recommend if you are older. 5 stars. So those are all the physical books and Kindle books that I read in June 2023. If you have read any of these, please comment down below because I love to chat with you guys and share our opinions. Or if you think you're going to read one now after watching this video, then also comment that down below because I would love to know. And also please comment down below if you have any more book recommendations or summer recommendations for me to read in July and August. And let me know if you want any other type of reading videos. I'm thinking of maybe doing a video where I read for 24 hours. I think that might be pretty cool. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!